Hello, folks. I'm Jason Ogo, the Data and Preparedness Coordinator for MEFIRS EMS. I'm going to be taking you through the vaccination run form that we've built out in MEFIRS. So the first thing you're going to notice is when you log in, you're going to have an extra run form associated with your agency. It's going to be called Vaccination Administration 1. You're going to go ahead and click on that form, and it'll open up to an incident that's going to start with this, a times page and a start record page. These two pages are important to remember that these pertain to the entire vaccination clinic that you'll be doing if you're vaccinating multiple patients in one setting, because the information that you fill out on these two tabs will populate over to the subsequent incidents that you create by clicking this next patient button. And I'll show you what happens with that at the end of this video. So with that, we'll get started right away. And we're going to be entering a patient that is a female patient that is pregnant, because that type of patient will have some extra questions that'll populate in the questionnaire. And we're also going to show this as we're documenting a second dose, because there's one additional question to ask when you're documenting a second dose. And this should be the longest type of run form that it should take to create the first run form of the day for a female patient that's pregnant receiving her second dose should be the longest one it'll take. And as I walk you through it, I'm going to set a timer so we can record that and show you about how long it should take. So we're going to enter the crew member completing this report first, our unit notified by dispatch date and time, our en route date and time, and our arrived on scene date and time. On the start record tab, we're going to indicate what type of location this is at. And since we're vaccinating EMS clinicians, we're going to say we're doing it at an EMS base. And this is our test clinic that we've built in the system. So we're going to use that, and all the address information populates in there. And we're going to build out the agencies doing vaccinations as facility names, so that will be able to be done for all those as well. And then the personnel on the call. So we're going to add our crew members, and all this information will auto-populate in here as well. Click OK. And then what type of vehicle we've taken to the scene, our unit call sign, and that information auto-populates too, based on the information. And then that should be the last time that you have to enter this information if you're doing a clinic where you're vaccinating multiple people in one setting. And then we'll go to patient information. And we have a repeat patient button available here that we'd encourage you to use for the second doses of vaccinations. And we also have the driver's license strip barcode scanner available here. For those of you that are using iPads to document, this will read the information off of a state of Maine driver's license using the camera on an iPad. But we're going to enter a patient from scratch. And so we have the arrived at patient date and time, which will be new for each patient. And then the patient's first name and last name. And then we're going to indicate the patient's race and gender. And so the pregnancy question is only pertaining obviously to female patients or female to male patients. If you indicate the gender is male or male to female, you won't see that, but you do see it for a female patient or female to male. So the pregnancy question, we said we're going to say that this patient is pregnant, and it asks us a question: have you had the opportunity to discuss this vaccine with your OBGYN or your PCP? And if we say yes, we're done. But if we say no, we give the patient an opportunity to decline, that we're willing to wait. And you could document whether the patient declines the vaccine or accepts the vaccine right here. We'll say that the patient accepts, and we're going to enter a patient's date of birth and an estimated body weight. And then we're going to go to the patient's address and put in a postal code. And since we don't have favorite postal codes built out in our demo agency, we'll just use a postal code lookup button. And we need to enter a telephone number for a patient and their email address, because we're going to be using the email address to send them a certificate to say that they've been vaccinated, or to remind them of their second dose is coming due. for the vaccine. And we need to have a mother's maiden name that we're using for duplicate prevention. Duplicate prevention in the larger system. So then we're going to add our billing information. And as I said, this is going to be a second dose. So we're going to select the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine second dose button right here. And it's going to ask us to verify these new values. Click apply changes. And then we will select our primary payment method and get the patient name for the billing information and add the insurance company name, the group ID, and the policy ID, and you are done there with the patient info. On to vaccine administration. Our questionnaire is going to be filled out electronically, and here is our questionnaire. Do you have a fever or are you feeling ill today? We're going to say no because nobody who's ill should be coming to a vaccination clinic. Are you currently breastfeeding? And have you had a chance to discuss this with your pediatrician, OBGYN, and your PCP? If the answer is no, we give them an opportunity to decline until they've done so. If the answer is yes, they've already discussed it, then there's nothing further there. If you've had an allergic reaction to a previous dose, this is a question that you only see on the second dose. We'll say, if we say yes, we have the opportunity for the patient to accept the vaccine or decline it after they've had a discussion with the medical staff there today. And then, have you ever had a severe reaction to any of the ingredients of this vaccine? And we're going to say no. And then on to the actual administration of the vaccine. We're going to add the medication, and this is the Moderna vaccine, and we're going to give it in the left arm, and we're done there. We need to enter the lot number, which is just a 5-digit code, and then the expiration date of the vaccine itself. And then onto a narrative section, which there is an auto narrative function for this. Just click auto narrative and generate. And then the patient signature page, which is a required field. You can select the date and time, get the patient name, have them read the release of liability statement, and then they can sign it and hit lock the signature button and lock and close. And you're done. And that only took about 6 minutes for us to do from scratch, explaining everything from the get-go. And this is the next patient button. And if you click this button, you click OK. It will close that incident out for you and open a new incident. And you'll notice that the information here on the first two blue tabs when it opens up is going to be filled out already. And you won't have to enter any of that information again, which will also be expedited too if you have a repeat patient and in the system like we have a few in here. But if it's a second dose, you should have those repeat doses. So that concludes our presentation today. And if anybody does have any questions, you can reach out to myself. My name is Jason Oko at 207-626-3863, or you can send me an email at jason.a.oko@maine.gov. Thank you.